Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Joe the Lawyer. We're going to take a look at an article out of the Wall Street Journal titled Coronavirus Relief Often Pays Workers More Than Work. When combined with state benefits, weekly government payouts create incentives that employers say complicate efforts to reopen businesses. If you've been following my channel, I've been a little obsessed with this topic because I'm a small business and I applied for the PPP and the EIDL disaster assistance loan. And also, they opened up unemployment for self-employed individuals, which I am. I applied for all of those things. So I'm interested to see how they work. I'm interested to see how the government's response to the coronavirus on an economic level has impacted the country. I know you come here for law, but you're going to get a little bit of politics as well. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Joe Pometto, Joe the Lawyer. I cover legal topics, legal issues, and legal news. I'm a small solo practitioner, so to me, this does affect lawyers. It affects small practices, small businesses. That's why I'm covering it. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Really looking to get subscriptions right now. Subscribing to my channel is a free way to support my channel. It costs you nothing. This channel will always remain free. Also, sign up for my email list. You'll get a free PDF on what to do when pulled over by the police. All right, let's get into the substance here. This was published today, April 28th. Roughly half of all U.S. workers stand to earn more in unemployment benefits than they did at their jobs before the coronavirus pandemic shut down swaths of the U.S. economy, a result of government relief that employers say is complicating plans to reopen business. The package of coronavirus stimulus laws passed by Congress and signed by Trump in March included a $600 boost to weekly unemployment benefits through July 31st. As that support is added to state benefits over the coming weeks, the average weekly payment to a laid-off worker should rise to about $978. From the nearly $378 the Labor Department said was paid on average last year. So that's more than a doubling of the average unemployment payment. That's almost $1,000 a week. You're talking $4,000 a month, okay? That gets you to $50,000 a year. That's above the median national income. Qualified workers will receive the government payout every week through July, and in most cases, the combined $978 weekly pay amounts to better pay than what many workers received before the crisis hit. Labor Department statistics show half of full-time workers earned $957 or less each week in the first quarter of this year. The stimulus measure means that in the coming months, many low-wage workers will avoid both significant harm to their finances and the potential health risks and further virus spread of returning to crowded workplaces. That's a good thing, America. That money in consumers' pockets, in turn, puts the U.S. economy on firmer footing to rebound once authorities allow businesses to reopen. Here's the catch. Here's the catch. But enhanced benefits also create disincentives that might hamper efforts by employers to recall workers when some states are trying to reopen their economies. It is possible that workers could ask their bosses to leave them on furlough so they can collect the larger payments while avoiding health risks. Meanwhile, employers are in the position of asking workers to get back on payroll, either so companies can reopen or the business can qualify for forgiveness of government loans. This could create a situation where an employee wants to stay off to avoid coronavirus. Okay, listen to me, it's off the article. Okay, and the boss says come back. The employee says, no, I'm scared about my health. And then what if the employee comes back and gets coronavirus? Then gets the coronavirus. This could be lawsuits here. Tony Hoffman Jr. found out last month his Hoffman car wash locations in Albany, New York qualified for government small business loans. To get that loan forgiven, he is recalling the more than 500 employees, many who work part-time, who he furloughed when they ordered car washes to close, and sales fell sharply at all of his shops. While he is happy to have the loan, Hoffman knows some of his workers will be worse off financially. And that's a portion of the PPP. If you spend it on your employees, if you pay them while they're off, that portion gets forgiven. Our interior cleaning staff are going to have to come back on the payroll rather than making the equivalent of $23 an hour to stay home, Mr. Hoffman said. These workers earn $13 an hour, which is above the state's minimum wage, but still, we will use the loan to pay them their regular wages, but we'll still ask them to not report to work. There's Mr. Hoffman. State regulators recently allowed exterior car washes to reopen but still prohibit interior cleaning, limiting on-site staff to 2. Figures on prior earnings of the more than 26 million Americans who sought unemployment benefits from March 15 through April 18th aren't yet available. The initial wave of job losses were concentrated, interesting here, among restaurant, hospitality, and retail workers, which is a huge portion of the economy, whose median hourly pay is less than the minimum now paid under an enhanced unemployment benefits. And look here at Massachusetts, man. They were paying above $600 a week already, and another almost $700. In Massachusetts, you may be making close to $1,200 a month. That's wild. Where the heck is Pennsylvania? Where's my state? Where's my state? Pennsylvania is not on there. Look at Kansas City. Look at New York down here in the middle. They have a high cost of living. They should be paying more. Alabama and Mississippi have a low cost of living, so it makes sense that they're down there. But California and New York, they're in the middle. Shame on them. The $600 bonus was intended to make sure the average worker had full wage replacement in the months following mass layoffs caused by the pandemic. Last year, state unemployment benefits replaced about 45% of laid off workers' wages, according to the National Employment Law Project. Congress opted for a flat amount because decades-old technology underpinning state unemployment systems didn't allow for payments to be calibrated to each worker's lost wages. Well, that's a problem right there. Is Congress in this country needs to be prepared in the future with these types of packages, not just due to coronavirus, but other catastrophes that could strike the country. If we waited for the systems to be set for 100% wage replacement, the payments wouldn't go out until June. I believe it. Under the existing system, many laid-off workers waited weeks to have their unemployment claims processed, and some are still waiting for the enhanced payments. I'm waiting for my claim to be processed. I don't really need, I could use it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a criminal defense attorney, and my business has gone to zero. Okay, I'll be okay, but I haven't seen it. Look, people who are not self-employed need it first. The $600 payment aligns with working full-time at $15 an hour, the minimum wage many Dems in Congress support. The federal minimum wage, followed by 21 states, is $7.25 an hour and has been unchanged for a decade. Restaurant and front-end retail workers in those states, including Texas and Georgia, are likely to receive more in benefits from their jobs. That's the perverse incentive. Tracy Jackson of Nacogdoches, Texas, started receiving unemployment after losing her job as a cook at a college. Her benefits total $1,200 every 2 weeks, almost twice what she would earn on the job. She wants to return to work. I don't know why, Tracy. I wouldn't. But being stuck at home has given her time to reflect. The extra money she receives, in UC benefits, unemployment compensation, has made her conclude she has been underpaid at her previous job, earning $10.30 an hour after 5 years. I like the college, I really do, but they're going to have to come with more money. If they don't, I'm not going to be there. See, this is one of the weird effects that this all is going to have. Interesting, huh? Still, Ms. Jackson's itching to get back to work. She inquired about a night shift position at a factory making containers, but there were no openings. I just can't sit here. I've never been out of work in my life. Maria Leone, a 44-year-old Chicago waitress, lost jobs at a diner and a Mexican restaurant after state authorities closed restaurants and bars. She's qualified for benefits, but has yet to receive the additional $1,600. When she does, it'd still be less than the $1,400 she would earn during her busiest weeks, but the payment may be more than she will earn once restaurants are allowed to reopen. Federal unemployment benefits by week. I'm looking at this over here. Wow, you can see the jump. 2010, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, You can see, so this spike over here, I'm halting on the article, look over here, federal unemployment benefit payment benefits by week. This spike over here represents the prior Great Recession. You see this spike in 2010, okay, how unemployment benefits went up and then unemployment benefits dropped and stabilized. Look at this spike. Look at this spike due to the coronavirus pandemic. This is unprecedented effect on the economy. And we can't even compare it to war, okay? Because war can be positive for an economy as long as you're not the country where the war is happening. As Americans, we go and we fight wars everywhere else, okay? Our country's not attacked. Country where, if you're the country where the war is happening, your economy is going to be devastated. Nothing is going to be the same, Ms. Nagadoche said, adding she nonetheless wants to return to work. There's only going to be a few tables and too many servers. We make money because we have a lot of tables, but social distancing is going to change that. People aren't going to come out. She's probably right. Those workers should still be eligible for partial unemployment benefits. The enhanced benefits creates a tricky situation for restaurant owners, especially in states like Georgia and Alaska that may reopen in a couple of weeks. Nationally, median hourly pay in food service occupations was $11.65 an hour in 2019, or $460 in a week. In some states, restaurant workers could receive double that pay on unemployment benefits. The unemployment benefits are so generous, in many places, workers are telling their bosses they'd rather be unemployed than return to their jobs. It's not that these workers are lazy, they're just making the best economic decision for their families. Workers should be ineligible for unemployment benefits if a job is made available to them. But Mr. Kennedy said restaurant owners are reluctant to report workers to authorities and sever relationships with employees they may need later. The issue is an unintended consequence of an understandably rushed relief bill. Democrats wanted unemployment benefits on steroids, and Republicans wanted loans tied to workers staying on payrolls. The programs collided, and it creates a real headache for small businesses trying to reopen. It does. It does. Let's look at this over here, this chart. Number of Americans receiving unemployment benefits is the highest on record dating back to the 1960s. Americans receiving unemployment benefits weekly. This is just a similar chart to the one we just looked at. Ms. Evermore of NELP said extra payments to low-wage workers who have a high propensity to spend is a minimal concern in the context of a $2 trillion relief bill. She added that without income support, low-wage workers would likely seek out other jobs, including side hustles and gig work. Maybe even some illegal jobs, like a side hustle selling drugs. I'm just saying, which could expose them and their households to a virus. That's true. These payments allow people to stay home. The point is, you want people not to work so we can stop this virus and get the economy back on track. Absolutely. Gas station and convenience store operator Sheetz, that's my state, PA, allowed employees over 65 and those with underlying health conditions to take paid leave, and allowed any other employees to take unpaid leave. If those workers can qualify for benefits, they would be receiving more in benefits than on their jobs. So the ones who took the unpaid leave may make more than the people who decided to stay and expose themselves to the virus. This is all these perverse incentives. The top end of the non-management pay scale at Sheetz is about $15 an hour. He is doubtful, the chief executive is doubtful many of his employees are staying home to collect benefits. Some workers who could be on paid leave continue to report to work, he said, in part because in many rural communities, the Sheetz store is one of few still open. I believe that. Everywhere in rural PA, let me tell you, there's a Sheetz. The bigger issue will be trying to hire outsiders who are on unemployment, as the company needs to staff back up, Mr. Sheetz said. Typically, Sheetz hires in the spring ahead of the summer travel season. Hard to compete with an extra $600 per week for hourly jobs. So unemployment is supposed to include a requirement that if you can get a job, you have to take it. But now people are not going to be seeking that work, or they're going to lie in order to stay home and get these juiced up benefits. It's in their economic interest that's going to happen. There's so many weird incentives created by this situation here. And again, the PPP, so these businesses get $50,000 loans, but they have to spend $20,000 of it on their employees and pay them while they stay home. Well, they do that, and now the employee is paying less. It's true, this was all rushed. But what I am saying is that Congress needs to, number one, Congress needs to be better prepared in the future. We need to get laws in place for future pandemics or similar situations that won't create these weird incentives. This could cause the economy to come back online slower because people aren't going to want to give up those benefits. It only runs till June, but if states reopen in June, there's going to be a lot of employees resisting this. That brings me to my second point. My first point is Congress needs to be ready. My second point is, like that woman said in here, Ms. Jackson, pay your employees more. Pay your workers more money. I know it's not that easy, but I know a lot of you can do it. Pay them more. Don't wait. Don't worry about the minimum wage. Pay them more. That would cure a lot of this, okay? And then when they got the PPP, the employees could take the PPP money and still be making as much as they're making on freaking unemployment. But also, my third point is people need to think about their future. So you might want to go back on the payroll, because if you stay on the unemployment, they might hire someone else, okay, to take over your job. And after June, you'll no longer get that $600 unemployment steroid injection. So the whole thing is wild. I hope everybody out there is getting their benefits. Overall, it's a good thing because we don't need people taking side gigs, okay, selling drugs or going to jobs where they shouldn't be because of coronavirus exposure. We don't need that right now. We do not need that. So overall, even though this creates weird incentives, this steroid pump into unemployment is good. The PPP is a good thing. It's helping a lot of people, and it is going to help our economy get back on track. But I do think Congress needs to sit back and really think about if this happens again and have a bill in place, have the infrastructure in place to do it right next time. And that includes the PPP, which I have railed about over and over again. And on top of that, employers, pay your employees better. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the future, though, because I think we're going to see some people try to linger on unemployment longer than they need to. That could create legal issues. Also, there could be lawsuits because of the effect that this has on companies, on people coming back. Maybe not. But there's going to be legal issues with unemployment benefits. FYI, I used to be an employment attorney. I still take employment cases, but I work for an employment law firm for a little over a year. So that's also why I'm strangely interested in everything that is going on here. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you found this informative, interesting, and fun. I'm Joe the Lawyer. Subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000. Please hit me with a subscribe. Share this video. Share it with anybody you think would find it interesting, who's staying home, watching YouTube every day, all day, like I am. Send it their way. There's some good information in here. Sharing is a great way to support this show. Thank you.